गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। सो टुडे आज हम सेल्सफोर्स एडमिन और डेवलपर के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं जो 100+ क्वेश्चंस है। तो ये फायदेमंद होगा इंटरव्यू के लिए। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज अ क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग? द प्रैक्टिस ऑफ यूजिंग अ नेटवर्क ऑफ रिमोट सर्वर host on the internet to store, manage and process data rather than the local server personal computers. Cloud computing is an approach to provide the following the service: SaaS, software as a service; PaaS, platform as a service; as infrastructure as a service. Next questions: what is a sandbox URL? Sandbox URL is a text.salesforce.com. Next questions: what is a production URL? Production URL is a login.salesforce.com. Next questions: what is a productions? We should not make coding the change in the production since uh, users are using the application from production the environment. Next questions: what is a sandbox? To make any changes for the exiting the application, we should copy all content of the production into the sandbox. Sandbox make all changes. After that is takes thoroughgraphy. After that is a move those changes into the production. To create the sandbox in production, we can find one link called the sandbox. By clicking on the link, we cannot create the sandbox by choosing type of the sandbox. Next questions: what are the type of sandbox? Developer sandbox, developer pro sandbox, um, part data sandbox, full coffee sandbox. Next questions: what is a developer sandbox? It is a coffee only configuration changes from the productions. It want to copy real-time data. We can test the configuration changes with the sample data. Sample data limit is 200 MB. Refresh time into interval is 1 day. If you refresh, all of the sandbox content will be the replaced with the production contents. Next questions: what is a developer pro sandbox? Pro sandbox copy configuration changes, no real-time data. Sample data limit is a 1 GB. And refresh the time the interval 1 day. Next questions: what is a part data sandbox? Copy configuration changes, copy certain amount of real-time data. Real-time data limit is 5 GB. For each table, it can copy the maximum of 10K records. Refresh the interval 5 day. Next question: what is a full copy sandbox? It is a exact replica of the productions. Copy both configuration and the entire real-time data from the productions. Refresh the time interval 29 days. And next question: customization. What is the track field history? While creating the object, we can enable track the field history. If we enable track field history, users can see set history, tracking button, users button, fields, custom fields, and relationships such sections which is available on of the object real page. By clicking on set history, tracking the button, we can enable the tracking for the fields whichever we want to see the object history. Go to the object records of layout and and add object name the history related list of the layout. We can enable tracking for the fields whichever we want to see object history. Go to the object records layout and add object name history related list of the layout. When you the use and changes fields value from one value to another the value, it is a show the history of the fields and object history related list. Next question: what are the activity in the Salesforce? The create of the activity will be creating the object. We should check for the allow. For user can add the open activity and activity history related list Based on the object layout, there are two type of activity. Task is a nothing but work assigned to the particular person is does not have a certain time limit. Even it has a certain time limit. In that time only person should be have assembled for the time limit, or even will we get the complete. Once event to task status is a changes to the completed, then we want to the see those records under activity history and related list. Next questions. How to rename the tab? The tab will be decided based on of the plural label of the custom object to the rename. Go to the responding the object details page and the rename the plural labels. Next questions. How to display multiple columns and after clicking on the tabs. Click on of the tabs in which should be have related to any of the custom standard object and expand the first.coms. Click access the menu, edit the columns, move to the indeed feeds from available fields to the selected fields. Click on the save. User should be able to see multiple columns, or click of the setup, create objects, select the corresponding the object links, order such layout sections. Click edit the which should be left on the object tab. Move the needed feeds from the available feeds to selected any feeds. Click on of the save. User should be able to see in multiple columns. Next questions. What is the difference between the is blank and is null? Is null work only for the number data type of fields. If we want to populate with all the value and numbers fields, it will be returned true. It want to support text data type fields, and because text fields never become the null. Is blank support both number as well as the text data types. Next questions. What is the dependent quick list? Dependent quick list some sensor we should be able to the um, control one of the feeds and dependent feeds from the another feeds and controlling feeds. For example, if we select the country controlling the feeds as US, then city department fields should be how display and only US cities. We can use to checkbox data type of the fields. Also with creating and depending the pixist node, a checkbox should be how always the controlling the feeds. We can on those multiply select the data types of the fields. Also the with the creating the dependent pick list node, multi select data types of fields should have be always the dependent the fields. Next questions. What is the architecture of the Salesforce? MVC architecture model view and controller view. It is a user's interface, app, tab, page layout, VF, page fields, and records type. Controller because logic the save, edit, new, cancel, and the delete. Upon the click on of the this button, the Salesforce execute some logic from the controller model. It is the database which across the same schema, metadata, data about the data, app, tabs, object fields, Apex classes, Visual Force page, and records. Next question: what is the difference between 15 digit and 18 digit ID in Salesforce? Normally, when a Salesforce users pulls the ID from of the records, though the interface on any object types get the 15-digit ID by designing. So, if you created a report on the fields account, contact, any custom object and data, the fields ID fields thought the interface, it will be look something like the 0015 five times zeros 1 FN 4 VL. And However, if you wear the access that same Salesforce account ID, view the API and tools like this from of the Apex data loaders and workbench 001 5 times 5 1 FN for VLEZ. The last degree 3 digit in the ID are the checks, sums, and calculations to assure that is the first 15 piece of the ID as accurate for the object ID and being the writing the into 50 digit ID is a case sensitive. 50 digit ID is a what will be received from the within the user interface. 15 digit to the case sensitive and the best use of the manipulating data outside Salesforce. 18-digit ID is a reference thought in the API and of other three-party tools. If you would be like to the convert the current user's interface ID to the 18 digit can be done by using the formula very simple. For I have seen couple of the version of the formula, but this the one of that work best for me in the my careers. All you need to the is added a new formula fields takes 18 characters with case fields 90. What is the records type for an object based on the records type? We can show the different fields and the different pick list value by the assigning different page layout for the records type and the profiles. After getting the records type on all the records type details page, users can see all of the pick list data types fields. Users can edit the pick list and decide which value should display for this particular records type. Next question: what is the difference between the details page and edit page? When you the users try to the create a new records, the edit and exiting the records user can input the value of for the fields. This is page is nothing but edit page. After creating a new records and editing the existing records, user can see the information of the records. This page is a nothing but details page. Next question: what is the out of box functionality? Functionality are the available within the Salesforce platforms. No need to the codes. What are the different type of tabs? Custom tabs create for object, web tabs and create to display a website. Visual force page, visual force tabs create to display the visual force page. What is a visual? What is a validation tools? We're creating of the modifying the records based on of the certain coordinations. We can the display error the masses on top on of the page below the feeds. Next questions. There are two feeds. Is the users populate two feeds value? If we combine those values, the uniqueness should be maintained. How to achieve the without the coding using the lookup function is the validation rules. We can achieve this. Next question: what are the governor limits? Since we are the working in the multi-talent environment, Salesforce is enforcing in limit for of the functionalities. How many no of feeds for the object 500? No of the master details relationship for an object 2. No of the lookup relationship for of the object 25. No of the rule up summary fields and 110. How many internal ID we can enable for the object 7 increase from the 3 to 7 in the winter 15. Next questions. For which data type we can enable the external ID, text, numbers, auto numbers, and image. What is a list view? List views allow you to see and filters list of the records such as a contacts, account ads, custom object. List views are sorted within the custom object compounds. The compounds can be represent and custom object as a standard and such as an account. After clicking on the tabs on the tabs on tab sorry On the tab on the top of the page, we can see view by default. We can see the value of the call. Or if we click on the go, beside that we can see all the records for that object. We can create new the view, and while creating the view we can give the filters conditions, so that based on of the filters condition we will be able to see records to tab in tabs. Next question: what is a in link in lines editing one of the details page without the clicking one of the edit button? We can edit a particular fields if it is the not ready on link. How to display inline the editing to enables to disable inline editing, follow the below and navigation setup customization users interface, enable the line the editing. What is the inlines? Sorry. Next question: how to disable inline editing? To enable of disable inline editing, follow the below the navigation setup, the customize user interface, enable inline the ratings. For next questions: what is a instance list view? In list view, we can the modify multiple records at a time using the interface list view the note. To multiply to modify multiple records, all of the records should be belong to the same records type in the list view. The otherwise we cannot the modify. Next questions: what is a search layout? Whenever we click one of the tab, we click one of the lookup icon or search for records, we see only one standard fields by default. To enable the remaining fields, to show multiple fields or of the records which display under the tabs on the object details page under the search layout edit tabs and the requirement fields. To show multiple fields for the records which display when we click lookup the fields one of the object details page under the search layout edit the lookup dialogs and add requirement fields. To show the multiple fields for the records which display when we search for the records one of the object details page under search layout edit the search result and add the require the fields. Next questions: what is a mini page layout and how to enables for the lookup fields on of the records details page? We see a link when we put cursor on that link, we see pop up the windows which display five the fields to control the fields and visibility. On that look up the fields and parents object page layout, we see many page layout in that we can control. Next questions: what is the leads process? To control the pick list value of the standard fields one of the leads object, we should be create leads process. Without the selecting of the leads process, we cannot create the records type of the leads object. Next question: what is the sales process? To control the pick list value of the stage fields of the opportunity object, we should be create sales process. Without the selecting of the sales process, we cannot create the records type of the opportunity object. Next question: what is the sales process? To control the pick list value of the stage fields of the opportunity object, we should be create the sales process. Without this selecting sales process, we cannot create the records of type of opportunity object. Next question: what is the support process? To control the pick list value of the status fields one of the case object, we can should be create the support and key process. Without selecting the support process, we cannot create the records type of case object. Next question: what is a web to load? One load object, we can generate HTML code and by selecting the leads fields and by the monitoring returns URL from the web to web to lead options to the generated HTML code can be hosted in any of the website. Open the entering the information in these fields can be clicking on the submit buttons. That information will be the saved into the leads object and Salesforce. What is a queue? The we can the add group to ensure we can assign to the object the queue. After creating of the queue, one of the list will automatically create one of the object which are the selected for the queue, and we can assign this queue as a owner of the records. Object will be object which selected for unique letter users which are the part of the queue can be claimed the ownership by the navigations to the list view the corresponding to the queue. The that is list view the users who are the part of the queue can be select the records and the click accept button so that records ownership will be the transfer from the unique accepted person. Next questions: what is the public groups? We can add set of the random user in the public groups. We can assign the public groups as the owner of the records. In manual sharing rules, add list view. We can use two public groups. Next question: what are the assignment rules? Assignment tools are the used to automated user organization, leads generation, and the support process. Lead assignment tools specify how to leads and assign the users unique cases as they are the created manually captures from the web imported view the leads input wizard. Case assignment tools determine the how to case and assignment the users or the put into the quick as they are the created manually using web to case, email to the case, and on demand email to case. The self-service portal, the customers portal, Outlook, and layout the notes. In all of the case created by users, ABC user that should be assigned to XYZ users. Next questions: what are the auto response rules? Auto response rules is a set of the combinations of the sending the automatic the emails response the leads and case the submission is based on of the attribute records applicable leads including the capture throughout the web to leads from assemble case to include the submitted that self-service portals. Self-service portal customer photos web to the case forms email to the case messages on of the demand email to the messages. Next questions: what are the escalation rules? Create the case escalation rules escalate case automatically if they are not the resolved within the certain period of the times. Topically your organization will have a escalations rules at the consent of the multiple in entry which specify is exactly how the case of the escalated. For example, you are the standard case escalations rules could have to the enter its case with type set goal are escalation within the 2 hours and the case within the type of set and deliver the escalation within the edit hours. Go to setup customize case and escalation rules. नेक्स्ट रिलेशनशिप के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. Questions: it is possible to create the master details relationship with the child's object which is having the existing records? No, we cannot create the directly to the create the first we should create the lookup relationship, then populate the fields value for the records and then con- convert the lookup the relationship in master details relationship. Next questions: it is possible to convert the master details relationship to lookup relationship if the parents object does not have to roll up summary feeds roll up child's object, then we can convert. Next question. What is the it is a possible to delete junction object in case master details relationship. Now, if the parents object don't have roll up summary feeds for the child's object, we can delete. To delete child's object, it is a should not be referred in Apex classes and Apex triggers later. If we undelete the object, master details feeds junction object will be converted to the lookup feeds. If we delete only master details relationship field from the child subject and undelete if the from the recycle bin, then I will be convert to the lookup the relationship parents object. We cannot delete the because it will be refer into the child subject. Next question, what will be happen if undelete the delete junction object master details relationship data type will be convert to the lookup the relationship and data types. What is happen to child's records if we delete two parents records in the case lookup relationship? If we delete the parents object records, all the child's object records relationship fits value will be get the deleted entire the records won't be get deleted. Example, the child's object implies object have a department fields which is related to the department object. Parents parents object department. Sup- suppose number of the employees number of employee records related to IT department. If we delete IT department, all the child's employees records department fields value related to the IT department will be get selected. Uh, Note: the Salesforce store deleted the date records only for 15 days in the recycle bin. Later, if it will be remove the records permanently. If you want to undelete the IT department records from the recycle bin, then all the related child's record department fields value will be restored. Next questions. What is the happen to child's records if we delete parents records in case of the master details relationship? If we delete the parents object, delete all the child subject records will be get the deleted. Example, child subject employees object have a department fields which is related in department the object mastered object department. Suppose number of the employees records related to IT. If we delete IT department, all the child's records will be get deleted. A Salesforce store the deleted records only 15 days in the recycle bin. The later it will be removed of the records permanently. If you have the undelete IT department records from the recycle bin of the along with IT department records, all the related child's employees records will be restored. We cannot see child subject records recycle bin. Next questions. What is the junction object? A child object which having the master details relationship with the two different parents object is a call in junction object. Example, object department, object two, object first department, object two project. And child object and child object implies feeds one department master details with department and feeds two project master details in project with project. And note from the above the example we can the easy implies the object in the junction object. Next questions. For the junction object, if we delete one of the parents records with will the happen to the child's records. Child's record will be get the deleted with which are the related to department as well as a project. If you note, if we undelete the IT department records from the recycle bin, then along with all the IT department records, all of the related chats and employees record will be the restores. Those will be the reflected for the project, as well as we cannot the see and chat the object records in the recycle bin. Users profiles as a permission set. 15 question. Sorry. Next questions. Uh, यूजर्स प्रोफाइल एंड परमिशन सेट टॉपिक के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, इट इज पॉसिबल टू डिलीट यूजर्स इन सेल्सफोर्स? No. No, once we create users in Salesforce, we cannot delete the users records. We cannot only deactivate the users records. Next questions, what is a grant account login access? How to enable to grant access login access? If you uh, if you need help by resolving the problems, you can have the grant login the your the account to the Salesforce invitation of the support the representative. If we enable grant account the login access for the users, then we cannot log in the ID in button on of the uh, details page of the of that users by clicking on of the long button without the giving the users username and the password. We cannot log in. To enable to the grant account login the access, follow the below the step. Log in as a users to the home. You want to be able to the login access. At top the right corner, click the name which should be left to the setup my setting. Users should be able to see users personal setup the page. Left side, click on the personal information grant account login access. Users should be able to see green account login access page. In access the duration column, the set 1 year for all the records and click on the save buttons. Log out and log in the any others users in the organization, then click on the manage users. Next question, sorry. Users should be able to see list records and the verify the users to the one we enables the grant account logic access. Users should be the able to see logging link beside the link edit links. Click on the login. The user should be able to log in as that is users mode. Observe at top right corners, users should be able to the say log in the name of the users, which should be highlight be highlight in the block black colors. Click on the layout. Should user should be the come back to the original users mode. Observe at top right the corners. User should be not able to say login in the name of the users. Next question, how to improve the security for metadata files and schema using the profiles and the permission set. What is a profiles? A profiles is a group and collections of the setting and the permission that is a defined what users can do within the Salesforce. The profile control the objective permission fields and permission user the permission tab setting, app setting, and Apex class access, visual force page access, page layout, records type, and login user and IP address range. We can map only one profiles for the one users, and without the mapping the profiles we cannot the create the users. What is the permission set? Permission set is also the very similar to profiles. Whatever you can the manage the profiles like the object permission feeds permission, user permission, tab setting, app setting, apex class permission, visual force permission. The same you can manage here also, but the main difference between these two is that users can be have only one profiles and can have to multiply permission set at a times. Example, to give the additional permission to the 5 users who belong to the different profiles for the app, tabs, and object and fields. Next questions, how to give the permission to the to fields or the different users how belong to the different fields. Permission set And next question, how many users are there are your the project with Salesforce instance? 1000. It will be depend upon the number of license taken by the client. It will be like up to 400, like that is a based on of the client. How to provide a security for the records instant roles, OWD, organization by default, sharing rules, menu sharings, Apex manage sharings. Next questions, what is the roles hierarchy control level of the visibility for the user have organization data by defining roles hierarchy, we can share the access to records. Users assigned to the roles near the top hierarchy, like the CEO, executive, and other higher level roles, get to the access the data of the all users who all the directly below them are hierarchies. What is the OWD? Organization wide default or the OWD are the baselines security view. You for your the Salesforce instant organization the wide default are used to the stat access. You can grant access. Thought the other means we will talk about later sharing rules, roles, hierarchy, shells, teams, and the account teams and manual sharings. There are four the levels of access that can be set: private, public groups only, public read rights. By default, after the creating custom object, OWD access is a public right and mm, read and write. Private, only owner the about the hierarchy users can have to role and read write access as a below the hierarchy users don't have any access. Public read only owner of the above the hierarchy users can have read write access, and below the hierarchy users can be have only read only. Public read writer representative of role the hierarchy, everyone can have read write the permission on of the records. Next question, what is the grant access using the hierarchies? Determine what your users have access to records they don't have. One including records it uh, records to the which they want to have sharing access, but access below that is a hierarchy does say there are three roles: roles B, roles C. Rows say higher in hierarchy, rows B is a middle, and row C is a row lower in hierarchies. If the role is uses manual those manual sharing of sharing roles, sharing the records of sharing records to the role. C users who can is a lower hierarchy then the role be the users who is above the hierarchy to row C users can see the records. If we enable grant access to using the hierarchies at a sharing settings, its role B user the cannot be grant. Records user and data loaders के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं जो इम्पोर्टेंट है। इंपोर्ट विजार्ड एंड डेटा लोडर्स जो एक सॉफ्टवेयर है सेल्सफोर्स, तो ये टॉपिक भी इम्पोर्टेंट है। तो इस तो डेटा लोडर से कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं। What is the import wizard? Import wizard is a web-based tool to process bulk record. With the import wizard, we can process maximum of the 15,000 records. In import the wizard, we cannot see file the object. Example, if there is a master details relationship between two objects, then child object we can not see. Next question, what is the data loaders? Data loader is a client application for the bulk import of export of data. Use it to insert, update, delete, and export Salesforce records. When importing the data, data loaders reads, extract, and the loads data from the comma, separate the value CSV files from the database connections. When exporting data is a output CSV files. Next question, which operation we can perform the data loaders in inserting the brand new the records, no need of ID. Updating is exiting the records based on the records ID. Observed to the should be have one external ID fields on the object based on the external ID fields. If the value already exist, it will be updated. If does not exist, then it will be insert. Delete the records based on the ID provided to the delete. We need only ID. Deleted records can be the found of the recycle bin. Hard delete the records based on of the ID provide the to delete. We need to only ID. Deleted records cannot be found in recycle bin. Note, we if you enable bulk API in data loader setting, then only we cannot perform the hard delete. Export from any the object. We cannot the export records based on the SQL query. Note, we cannot the export deleted records and which are there the records recycle bin. Export all of from any object. We cannot export records based on the SQL query. Note, using export all of we cannot the export deleted records which are there in the recycle bin also. Next questions, data loaders is the import wizard the support which files format CSV comma separate the value. What is the fields in mapping the fields format from the data loaders SDL. How to insert null value into the data loader setting. We can should be enabled to insert null value checkbox. Otherwise we cannot the insert null value. Next questions, what is the external ID? It is a fields that is user reference and ID from the another external system. For instance, it if the customer has a Oracle financial system that they will be linking with Salesforce, they may be the desire for them for they to be able to refer to the Oracle ID of account records from the within the Salesforce. So they will be create an external ID in the Salesforce, and they will be loads an Oracle ID into that is fields for each account. They cannot then refer to the ID fields rather than the Salesforce IDs. So next questions, maximum batch size of the data loaders. The maximum value is a 10,000 10,000 if the use bulk API option is selected in single insert, update and delete operation records moving the from Salesforce as a process in the increment of this size. The maximum 200 records. Next question, what is the default batch size? If we enable to bulk API, 200 records enable the bulk API in data loaders allow you to the load and to delete large number of the records faster. That is using the defaults of the basic API. However, there are some difference in behavior in the data loaders when you enable the bulk API. One of the important the different is that is allow you can execute the hard delete if you have the person and license. वर्कफ्लो नेक्स्ट टॉपिक देखते हैं वर्कफ्लो एंड अप्रूवल टॉपिक के कुछ क्वेश्चंस. What are the different kinds of the evaluations criteria? Event, create and every times edited to the meet and edited to meet the criteria. Created the edited and submit the criteria. Next question, what is the difference between the create and the every times edited to the meet the criteria and created and the edited to sequentially meet the criteria? If we select the create and the every times edit to meet the criteria, whenever we create the records or the edit two records, and if the criteria of the workflow rules and meet the, it will be triggers every times. If If we select the create the I grid to the subordinate subsequently meet the criteria, whenever we can create the records that is meet criteria, so that workflow will fire the will the creating the records, again creating the meets workflow want to be meeting the criteria on the on the meeting criteria to meeting the criteria. When we create the records, if you records criteria does not do not meet the workflow will be not the fires in the same way to if criteria meet the bill within the records, then the workflow will fires. Cancellations of provides state of the records should be not meeting the criteria, and the current stage of the records should be meeting the criteria, then only in correct state working will fire. Next questions. What are the type of rows and criteria? Criteria meets fields operator value. If there are multiple criteria, then then filters criteria we can give the conditions like 1, 2, and 3 fields to the fields. Compressions is not the possible. We cannot the fetch the provide the stage information of the fields. Formula evaluation we cannot the we can right formula with this we can do within the fields two fields computation, and we can on the fetch previous state value of the records. Next question, what is the immediate working actions? The action which will be performed immediately after the records criteria meets. Next question, what is time dependent workflow actions? The action which will be the perform in the futures based on of the any of the date fields to the create data. Time dependent workflow action we should be create on of the time and triggers. In time triggers we cannot give the either day or hours with the maximum for 999 value, and we can select the either before and afters. Next questions, for which event we cannot create the times dependent workflow actions create and every times and edited into meet criteria. Next question, what are different kind of workflow actions? Feeds update, we cannot update the feeds and some object the fields of the parents object, which are the master sites master details relationship. Only for the master details parents object we can the update the fields, and the for lookup we can the update. Emails alert we can the send emails if the criteria meet. New the task we can the create the new task. Outbound message we can the make a call out. Next question, what are the types of the image template? Text HTML with letterhead, custom HTML without the letterhead, result force. Next question, there is a time-based workflow which will be update one of the fields if the criteria meets is the submit the records with the value criteria workflow triggers, so that that the fields update is required is quick in the time based flow quick, which will be fired after the 1 day if the super modifier the records which of the submitted before the schedule data after the modification the records criteria is not the meeting, whether the fields will be updated or not updated or not is a schedule's date. It won't what won't not it not will not triggers in the schedules date, because if we modify the records not the meeting criteria, that is a quick fields and update will be the removed from the time based flow and quick. uh, Next question, for the some sensor explain into the above the question will be the happen when the we reacted to modify the criteria on the workflow to the different criteria with the fields will be the updated in not the schedule date. Yes, will be triggers in schedule date. Since there are the two workflow rules are the some object say the normally work WF1 and WF2. If we if WF1 filter of higher than field will be the updated on of the some object. If the fields updated and to this F WF2 criteria meet, then what will be happen? WF2 will be fire the notes, and if want to fire WF2, we should be unable to renew workflow rules and checkbox of the fields update which is there in the work WF1. Next questions. What is the approval process? And approval process is a automated the process or the organization can use to the approve the records in Salesforce and approve the process specific of the state necessary from for the records and by approval and who must approve it is a each step can be the apply to records including the process just records that is have certain attribute. Approve process also the specific the action to take when the records approval rejected records first submitted for approval. And next questions, how to the configure approval the process before the creating for approval the process we should be have select the object. After that we should have follow the step. Give the approval the process name. Give the criteria for the approval the process. Select the name template. We can if we don't select any image template, Salesforce by the default and default send and the image notification to the target approval is with the our selected image template target the approval they will be the notifying select the users who can submit it for the approval we if we do not the select any users by default all the users who can the access that to that the records can be submitted and select the users can be whom records should be submitted and internal any tail submission actions after the submitting records of the approve the immediately what were the actions including of the internal submission action and submission action section will be triggers approval the stage we cannot add to multiple stage for each and every step we can see approve the actions and the rejection actions sections where we can add an actions to the action to be the perform if the approval the if the approval approve the records them action which are the under the approval the action section will be triggers. Next question, sorry, find approval the actions sections. If all of the step approval the action which are under find the approval the actions which section will be triggers. Final rejections action sections if any one of the step rejected the them action which are the under find final rejection action the sections will be triggers. Recall approval the actions after the submitting records for the approval. If you are if you want to be revoke, we cannot we click one of the records, approve the actions one of the details page. After clicking on that button action which are under recall approve the action section will be triggers. Next questions. Scenario after the activating the approval the process I want to add the more step it is a possible it is not possible to add more to add one more step deactivated to approve the process and clone the deactivated approve the process and the new stage. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज रिपोर्ट एंड डैशबोर्ड्स के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं जो इम्पोर्टेंट है एंट्री के लिए. व्हाट इज द रिपोर्ट्स? Reports give you access to your the Salesforce data. You can examine your the Salesforce data in almost infinite combinations, display in the easy to understand format, and share the result inside with other before building, reading, and sharing reports. Review the this reporting the basic. Next question, what are the type of reports? Tabulars, display records just like two tables. Summary, we cannot summarize the information based on criteria fields. mastic. We can summarize the information into the dimensional demi, sorry, both are the row and columns join. We can summarize the information into the different block one of the same object and the related object. Next question: how many blocks we can create for join the reports? 5 blocks create the joint reports. And next question: how many maximum group we can do for summary matrix and join reports? 3 groupings. Next question: what is a bucketing? Is the reports bucket fits in the reports is used to group value to some we specify. एंड नेक्स्ट टॉपिक है एपेक्स प्रोग्रामिंग बेसिक। तो उसके कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं। व्हाट आर द OOPS concept? Any language which support following the concept of the OOPS based language in encapsulations class and the interface fee way to the bundles data and the capability to the operate and data times abstraction providing the appropriate the level and information and data at the requested levels with the help access specifier the private protected public and globals. um, Prime Mauritius, it will allow you to the defined way to the dealing the with data without the not knowing exactly how to data will be the defined in the futures. Inheritance, the capability of the class object have a certain methods and the attribute the password down of them toward the hierarchy. This is will be the achieved by using the extend and the implement keywords Apex support all of the above the mentions concept. So Apex is a OOPS based the language and note Apex is a case and incentives. Next questions: what is the difference between the non-static and the static? By default, all of the variable of methods and non-statics. Scope of the non-static variable of the methods is within the scope of the some object. We cannot declare variable and methods as static by using static keywords. Scope of the static variable and methods be the throughout of the transactions. In transactions, static variable and the methods we cannot be directly call with the class name. We cannot the access. Static variable of the methods will be object in name. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक है कलेक्शन के बारे में कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं। What are the type of the collection available in the Apex? List, order, and all of the duplicate set under it. The one not allow the duplicate map key and the value pairs. Next questions: what is the difference between list and set? List, order, allow duplicate, cannot access element with index. We cannot short list element, short the methods. Default the sorting the orders in ascending and contain the methods is not available. Cannot process the records which are the store in list of the using a DML statement insert, update, and delete and undelete in list order list. And set uh, unorders does not allow the duplicate cannot be accessed to with index. Short method is not available. Content is method is available to the search to particular element. Cannot be processed in records which are the stored in the set of the DML statement. Next question: what is the maximum size is the list? No limit of the size of list. It's only depend on of the heap size which is a 6 MB Synchron, Synchron and 12 MB asynchronous. Next question: what are the map in methods available in the Apex? Map hold key and value here. Map key are the case insensitive. Syntax: map the syntax map data types, data types, map name, new map data types, insert to the fetch only key from the map value is equal to the fetch only value from the map contain key value to the search to key from the map get key of the by supplying the key. We cannot be fetch value, put key value to add key and value in the map. Next topic है DML, SQL and SQL के टॉपिक के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. What are the DML statement available in the Apex? Insert, update, delete, and delete. Absurd combination of the insert and update. Merge combination of the update and delete. Next question: what is the governor limit in DML statement? Number of the DML statement for transactions 150 as rule, including insert and update and delete and undelete. And number of the row and process per DMS statement 10,000. Next question was what is the SQL? SQL Salesforce Object Query Language. SQL purpose to fetch records from the object and related object. We can the write query on of the object will be queries on of the those object. We can also fetch the child object records, parents object records, governor limit. So SQL statement, SQL queries per transaction 100, and SQL query row in requirement 15,000. And next question, what is the SQL? SQL Salesforce Object Search Language. SL purpose we cannot search for the value of the multiple object in no need any relationship. Result of the SQL query can be the sorted in list of object governor limit in the SQL statement. SQL queries per transaction 20. SQL query row return the 200. 99. Next questions. Different between the insert update and database.com insert database dot update and assume that is you are the inserting the 100 records. Insert update if any one of the records fail due to the errors, then entire the operations will be failed. None of the records will be saved into the database by using the insert and update. If we use try to catch, then we cannot do capture only the errors which will be case to the stop the operations. Database dot insert database dot update. If any one of the records fail due the errors, then if will perform partner operation with valid the records will be insert updated in by using the database using the list and clash database dot updated in list and clash. We can the capture all of the errors by the saving the result if database.com is the result. Next questions. There are the queue and with name my queue. How to query is using the SQL query from the database. The query will be stored in group and object to query my quick and from of the database using the SQL. We should be have using the following the syntax. Group graph is equal to select ID name of the group and where the name is equal to my queue and I type query limit 1. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नेक्स्ट टॉपिक एपिक्स ट्रिगर के कुछ क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. What are the triggers in event before modal before mode before the records is a saving into the database it will be fire. After mode after the records is a saved into the database is not the commit at a point of time it will fire. Before before insert before update before delete and after insert after delete after update and after undelete after before delete before update before insert before delete not before undelete is event is not available. Next question, what are the triggers in condense variable? the capture of the run times and information. We can use the triggers in context variable. Below the context variable will be returns either the true and false. Triggers dot is before and returns true is a the triggers content is a before mode. Triggers is a if after that returns true if the triggers content is a after modes. Triggers dot is insert in return of the true of the triggers and concept context is a insert triggers is update return to if the triggers in content context is a update triggers is delete returns to in the triggers connect context concept connect context is a delete triggers is a undelete and return to the true if the triggers in context is a undelete triggers is a executing of the returns to if the apex class method is a getting called in apex triggers below the context variable will be stored in records at runtimes triggers old store history older versions of the records triggers that old map and store the history older versions of the records along with the id triggers now store the new versions of the records. Triggers new the map, store the new versions, one of the records along with IDs. Next question availability of triggers old and triggers new and for different triggers in event. Apex triggers collection availability from the difference event before insert after insert triggers old no okay event uh, before delete after undelete and triggers hold read only and triggers old map read only and triggers new read only and triggers new map read only. So next question is when to use before triggers and when to use after triggers. Before triggers is to perform the validations we should be have use before triggers if you have updating the any fields on of the same object on of the which you are writing the triggers and no need to exactly including the DML statement already do to the DML operations only triggers files and into the still operation still progress at this point of the times after triggers if you are the dealing with the relationship records and if you are the need records id in these situations we should be used to after triggers in the before insert records does not certain the records id. Next question for the sum event if there are multiple triggers on the object have to control the ordering executions. We cannot the control the order of the execution in the situations is not a recommendation to the have to only on triggers for one object. Note we can keep the logic of the apex triggers in the an apex class and can be evolved from the that class. Next question, what are the results, triggers, and the how to avoid? If we perform the update operation, one of the records in after update event logic execute triggers will be resides. Using static balloon the variable in an Apex class, we should not keep static balloon variable inside of the triggers. We can the avoid three so triggers. Next question, what is the mixed DML operation errors and how to avoid? If we perform DML operation and standard custom object and a global object users role users group member permission set it in the same transactions in this error will become. To avoid these errors, we can should be perform the DML operation on the standard custom object records in a different the transactions. In the general all the Apex class and Apex triggers execute and cent- synchronous usually execute and immediately. If we are the perform the DML operation and standard custom object records asynchronously as as asynchronously execute with the future content context, we cannot avoid the mixed DML operation errors. The execute the logic as asynchronously usually keep the logic and Apex method in the separate Apex class, not the same same Apex triggers, which is decorated with features auto annotations. And see the below the example note. See analyze the code copy if and past if the noted for the convergence public class triggers utility following the features methods execute and when you are the service if free it is will be execute in future the concept context we should not declare future methods and apex triggers. Future methods should be always static. Future methods accept only the prime primitive data types, entire the string, boolean, date parameters, and it won't not cannot accept one of accept not primitive data types, object, custom object, and standard object. Parameters, features, methods should not be certain the returns type. Always it is should be avoid from and the apex triggers we can the make only make pass out to make call out we should be include the call out the true waves beside the features annotations we can the perform the synchronous call out of the apex triggers we do the example for features methods which features call out true application static void process as from primitive the parameters logic into to logic to the insert update and standard custom object and next questions following the custom object are available in the organization child object c parents object c relationship between the child object underscore C and a parent subject underscore C object is a lookup the relationship. In case of the lookup relationship, if we delete the parent object, records in the child object only the relationship to the value will be removed. Child's records be not the deleted by clicking has a requirement to delete the child's object records to the achieve this. Next question, write an apex triggers to achieve the functionality. We should take before delete even if we take after delete relationship will be broke up parents and child object records triggers parents triggers and on object parents and before the delete note for delete event only triggers dot old and triggers dot old map will be available and triggers dot old version for of the records but if we mention that is SQL queries Salesforce will be automatically convert those records into the IDs and list childs is equal to select id parents is equal to object is equal to c from the child object is underscore c where parents underscore object underscore c in the creation old delete and childs. What is the order of executions of the Salesforce? We are the creating the validation rules, workflow rules, and assignment rules, auto presentive rules, and calculations rules, and apex triggers. If the condition is the same for all the rules, which will be the executed from first and which will be executed next for the Salesforce providing the orders. Orders of the executive is the Salesforce. Prepare the reports for the insert, update, and operations. It will be replaced will Replace all of the fields value with the name fields name the fields value. If the request is coming from UI, all the system validations will be executed. Data time, length, required, unique, page layout level the validations, and before the triggers. Custom validation and again system validation rules will be free. Page layout validation rules are not the fire at this point of the time. And records will be the slow into the database but does not the commit. Auto triggers, assignment rules, auto responsive rules, auto responsive rules, workflow rules. In case of the workflow rules and field update and assign before triggers and after triggers fire the more times. System validation rules for the duplicate case. थैंक यू एवरीवन। सो आज हमने देखा है कि सेल्सफोर्स एडमिन और डेवलपर की कुछ क्वेश्चन जो इंटरव्यू के लिए फायदेमंद होगा। तो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में। तो अगर मेरा चैनल आपको पसंद आता है तो मेरे चैनल को लाइक और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और शेयर कीजिए। और मैं अच्छे और आगे भी अच्छे से वीडियो बनाऊंगा जो कि सेल्सफोर्स के लिए प्रिपरेशन के लिए बेनिफिट हो सकता है। तो मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में। थैंक यू, बाय बाय।